Coming to you from the middle of the Daniel Boone Forest. I mean the middle of the Daniel Boone Forest. I mean the middle of the Daniel Boone Forest.
We're up in here.
Me and my buddy Brian are down here off of Bark Camp, Nose Dock Road, and in the middle of the forest. I'm gonna flip this here.
It's Forestry Road 193.
Forestry Road 193. We're sort of on a ledge here. You see the drop off right here. We got an interesting story to tell you about this in a minute. But the old maps show a cemetery down here, and Brian has located the cemetery. There's an old home place that used to exist down in here, an old road bed that came down through here and made its way around through there. But I'll let Brian tell you what we've got here. This is the cemetery right here, and we think there are two graves at least here. Yeah. What's the story, bro?
Back in 1900, the guy was trying to get home. He was trying to make his way home in the middle of the night. You can see right here, the edge of the cliff goes through. The guy literally went off the face of the cliff, trying to make it home when he fell down. He went missing the next night, and the community and the family and everybody got together, and they
found him.
For him. They found him down at the bottom of the cliff, and they brought him back up around right here. They buried him right here. And when they originally buried him, they just marked his grave with his old gun. He used to carry like an old double barrel shotgun. They marked his grave with the old shotgun, and I'm not entirely sure how it sat like that for long. But when the foresters started getting all this land here back in the 40s and 50s, stuff started acquiring all this property, they come down here and they mark this grave out with these rocks and stuff that's down here now.
Put that stone right there. Put your hand on that. Show it.
And this right here,
it's like a headstone right there.
This was the original headstone right here for Howard King, and forestry marked it out with this rock right here, all the way down the side, right here, and it goes all the way to the end. Right here, as you can see, all this does.
Yeah.
And right here,
there's another grave right here. This is a child's grave.
I've never had nobody tell me nothing about this grave, but when I got down here in back of the thicket back in September, I started digging around the old Howard King grave. I found this grave right here, and I'm pretty positive this is probably a baby's or a small child's grave.
Yeah.
That was
Put your hand on that headstone there.
Right here.
There's a headstone there, and a footstone.
And there's a footstone I dug up right here as well.
Just 3 feet away.
And
crazy, man.
I'm thinking that was either probably the Howard King grandchild of Andrew King. I've traced an Andrew King back to him. That was born in 1865.
Now running down through the bottom here is Jackie Creek, is that right?
Yeah.
And Jackie Creek is on its way to Bark Camp.
To Bark
Creek.
Right there.
Which is down to your...
And the old road splits off right here, where my finger's pointing at the top of the hill. The road literally split off right there. And it went down this way, and I don't know if it come down in here somewhere or what, but the old home place set down here in the bottoms is when you look it up. When you look up on 1900 census records, it's listed as lower regions of Whitley County is what it's listed as him living in.
Yeah.
He's listed as a pauper.
Well, he lived in the, he was a sustenance liver, man. He lived off the land, and that is definitely the creek bed that's running. That's Jackie Creek running right down through there on its way to Bark Camp Creek. Man, I'm telling you, you just have to want to come here, Brian. I mean, for you guys to locate this cemetery is one thing. You just got to know where you're coming or follow the GPS off the map. Now, the reason we're here today is Brian has dug down into his own pocket here to get a proper marker for Howard King. You see that right there, Howard King, 1830 to 1901.
Yeah, he was born in 1830, and I've traced him back to Claiborne County, Tennessee, in the 1860 census.
Yeah.
And he was married to a Jane King.
Yeah.
And she must have died somewhere between that time period and 1880, because he's listed as a widower then. Well, living in Whitley County, he's listed as a widow. And
it's just interesting to me that, you know, this is listed on the old forestry maps as being a cemetery. They don't really state how many graves, but we can definitely see two. Makes me wonder if maybe there were others, Brian, at one time.
I've looked down here when I was back down here and I scraped some of these leaves back and stuff before it started falling real hard. I didn't find no signs of no more graves, and I went down here below the ridge, down here below the cliff line, and I looked at whole section over right there, and I never found no signs of no graves or nothing down in there.
Yeah. Fascinating place,
Right here's
man.
the only thing I found
That even resembles a grave.
resembles a grave or anything.
Well,
And Chris always used to tell me about this old grave right here.
Chris, tell him Chris's name.
Chris Wilson, he passed away in 2016, unfortunately. He's one that got me turned on about all the history and stuff around
This area.
and this area and everything. And he used to call this the old lost grave. He told me, he said, Brian, he said, if you go down the thicket somewhere, he's buried down there, but he said, I'm not entirely sure where. And I guess when forestry updated all the maps about 2019, 2020, they started listing all the cemeteries and stuff, all the surveys that they'd done back in the old days. I guess they started listing them and everything.
Well, I can tell you one thing on CalTopo, which is the software I use. CalTopo definitely has the cemetery showing, and you know we're out on top of it, according to the GPS readings that I have. And there's definitely 2 graves here now. I don't know if there's a. Brian says he's sort of scouted this area before, see if there are any others along this finger ridge. Finger ridge sort of comes right toward us here, and then he walked off the edge of this 25-30 foot drop. It had been a sudden stop at the bottom, could have broke his neck.
Yeah, I think that's what happened to him. He got confused, and there's a gap that goes down. The road goes down the gap right there, and there's a sponsor gap. The guy got confused being down here pitch black at night.
Yeah.
Probably just had a cobalt lamp or something, I'd imagine. Trying to light his way. And
the number of old road beds that seem visible to me down here are amazing. It looks to me like there's a road bed down in that bottom right there to the right, and then cuts across the creek and continues on to the left over there. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's where I followed it out to. Was right there in the main bottom stuff. Right there, and I never found no signs of no home places, nothing else. Daisy's going crazy on the trees over here.
Well, we've made a start toward where we're wanting to go to with this Howard King marker that Brian bought. What we're going to plan on doing, we're going to try to build this base up another 5 or 6 inches. Get that base up off the ground a little more, then dress it up with some topsoil. We're going to have to carry some more aggregate in here, some more material to build that up a little bit more. Yeah. So we will
definitely done.
See what we can come up with on some more aggregate.
We cleared some of the grave. We cleared some of it off from the grave.
Oh yeah.
Right there, and
we've took the old chainsaw and cleared this area out pretty good.
Actually looks like nicer down here than what it did back in the thicket.
We've cut some stuff back. But our way in was sort of coming down this ridge right through here.
It brings you up to the edge right here where the accident happened right here.
So, yep. So this is a good start for us, Brian.
Chris always told me, said his his great-grandpa Tilden Wilson helped bury this guy right here.
Yeah.
I guess he went part of the community helping look for him when he went missing that night. His people got worried about him and stuff. He lived down here, and he was listed as a pauper on the 1900 census, and he was living in a household of Daniel Webster Hinkle was the guy's name. And he was
where he was living?
Yeah. And he was living there with his son Andrew King, who was 35 at the time. He was born in 1965. He's living there with a guy named John Noe, who was 60, born in 1840. That was everybody listed on the census record.
In that household?
Yeah, in the household.
And Howard was living there?
Yep, and Howard was living there, and I don't know exactly what happened to him, how he was living there, why he was listed as a pauper. But in the 1860 census, when I found him in Claiborne County, Tennessee, he's listed as a laborer.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, we're going to continue to work on this and come with some more aggregate and try to build a proper memorial for him here in the woods.
I like to get some big crate gravel around.
Yeah.
Right there and put down, and then like you said, put some more number 8s down and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll work on it. Okay, we're making another trip back in to the gravesite. Howard King carrying some more material. Got some riprap material to add to the base of where we're going to put the little grave marker. Brian's carrying a heavy load. I guarantee you. Brian's carrying a heavy load, and Daisy's leading me. Is that right, Daisy? Daisy, what do you think about it?
Doug's talking to me.
What do you think about it? Huh? What do you think about it? Yeah.
Real tax on it. That's that list I gave her. I gave about $80 for it. Damn good.
All right, let's go. Come on. Let's go. All right. Okay, we came back in and put some riprap down. We're gonna come back eventually and add some more number 8s, but that's a great base. I mean, Brian, that base is what, 8-10 inches thick?
Yeah, something like that. I put a whole bucket of creek gravel down, and I put a whole bucket of regular 8s down too.
That's a good base for that thing.
Well,
It ain't going
put
away.
soil back around it and tamp it down.
Yeah, I think what we'll do, we can either put soil around it today and tamp it down, or I would about be in favor of just leaving it like it is today and come back, put some number 8s to build up around on top of those of the riprap. Put one more bucket load of number 8s, and then dress it up with topsoil. Try to do that here in the next week or so, because I think that's a very fitting memorial. I don't know who else will ever see it besides me and you, and whoever we. Yeah, you never know. Somebody else follow those maps and see a cemetery and come out and find it.
No, I figured he'd been down here 120 years without a headstone, just a regular old.
Well, he died in 1901. This is 2022,
yeah,
so
this right here was always his headstone.
Yeah.
This rock was right here, so
yeah.
That's what I figured.
So he's been here what, 121 years?
Something like that.
121 years.
Hey,
I appreciate you taking money out of your pocket, Brian. And
Chris had always told me, said that his papa always told him about the old man King.
Yeah.
He fell off the face of the cliff right here. That cliff's probably a good 40-foot drop, and you imagine a 71-year-old man. You know, he's not going to survive it fall, frail as he already probably was and stuff. But what really intrigues me about this whole thing, and I cannot figure out, is why there's either a baby or a child's grave here.
yeah.
And I can't find nothing about it. Chris never told me nothing about it. I've never heard nothing about it from none of the Wilsons, Ossops.
There's definitely a grave there.
Nobody's ever told me nothing about this grave right here, but I always heard about the Howard King grave now.
It's definitely a grave there. Definitely a grave there. Hot girl. Hot girl. Hot girl.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll come back and let's leave it like that right there, Doug.
Yeah, let's leave it like that. We'll come back and dress it up here in the next few days. Because we got to go back and do some work at Sears too.
Yeah.
So I think job well done, man.
I'm wanting to go with Meister for a minute too, if you want to.
Well, let's do that.
That's if you're up to it, brother.
Let's do that. All right. From the Howard King gravesite. Appreciate you, man.
We got a headstone for sure, man.
All right.
Old headstone, old boy.
Yep. Job well done, man. All right, we're making our third trip in here today. We went and got our wheelbarrow and got one more load of material. I'm gonna try to finish this task up here today. Okay, it's a pretty good base. We need a little topsoil dressing to go around here. Pretty good solid base right there. Well, we've about done all we can do here, man.
Yeah.
We've got this set. We've dressed it up enough to get it through winter. May have to come back down here in the spring or sometime, a warm weather day, and put some more topsoil around. But we've Got a real good memorial for Howard King here. It's been a day, ain't it?
Yeah, we wheelbarred about 3 different types of rock in here and put down this and everything.
That's a great base under there,
Keep
man.
it from sinking and stuff.
A great base. All right, till the next project. Anything else you want to add?
Just if you know where any type of headstone or a grave name, any type of headstone right there, go to markeverygrave.com right there, and that was like $40.
Markeverygrave.com. I think they start out at like $26, depending on what all you put on them.
Right here. Yeah. So my grandfather, Clarence Wilson, always told us an old man king that fell off a cliff one night going home right after the turn of the century, 1900. There is a gap, and a false gap in the area. He took the wrong one in the dark. His friends found him the next day, took him to the top of the cliff, and buried him using his old gun to mark the grave. After research, I found him listed in 1900 census records, Lower Regions, Whitley County, Kentucky. He's listed as a pauper along with Andrew King, age 35, probably his son, and 60-year-old John Noe in the household of the Hinkle family. I've traced him back to Claiborne County, Tennessee, 1860 census. Said the grave is only marked by an unmarked rock, a piece of metal, some old flowers, and ribbons left by the U.S. Forest Service.
There you go. Howard King, 1830-1901.